Before you close your eyes, I want you to look at your hand. Look at the lines on your palm, the length of your fingers, the way your pulse beats in your wrist. You might see a body, but a mathematician is a masterpiece of code. Have you ever wondered why there are 60 minutes in an hour? Why not 10 or 100? Why does a circle have 360 degrees? Why is the golden ratio found in the petals of a flower, the spiral of a galaxy, and even in the shape of our own DNA? The truth is, you're walking, breathing geometry. Tonight, we are not going to study math. We're going to remember it. We're going to travel back to a time when numbers were not symbols in a textbook, but survival. We will visit the ancient shepherds who used pebbles to keep their souls at peace, and the Indian sages who looked into the void and discovered the most powerful weapon in human history, the zero. As you prepare for sleep, realize that you are not just listening to a lecture, you are listening to the secret language of the universe, the language that was written in the stars long before we had the words to name them. So let the weight of the day fall away. Your only task is to listen as we trace the thread of numbers from the first scratch on a bone to the infinite silence of the cosmos. Close your eyes slowly. Allow your body to go completely limp. Feel the weight of your limbs as they sink into your bed or chair, becoming lighter and lighter with every breath. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, let every muscle settle into total stillness. Now imagine you're walking backward through a long, misty corridor of time. Back and further back. With every step, the noise of the modern world fades away. The rush of the city, the honking of cars, the constant ping of notifications, and that faint hum of electricity that surrounds our daily lives. It is all dissolving. There is only silence now, a deep, ancient silence. You have arrived in an era where humans have learned to speak, but counting is still a mystery. Imagine a cold, crisp night. You're sitting at the mouth of a cave. A small fire crackles before you. High above, thousands, millions of stars fill the sky. There is no artificial light here. The stars are so sharp and clear, they feel close enough to touch. In this time, humans don't have words like 1, 2, or 100, but they have a feeling that tells them if the members of their tribe returning from a hunt are fewer than before, a feeling that tells them if the basket of fruits is full or empty. Tonight, we are not talking about math as a set of problems to solve. We are talking about that primal sense that connects us to nature. Mathematics is not just paper and pen, it is a music embedded in every atom of the universe. Think of your heartbeat. Even in deep sleep, it follows a rhythm. That rhythm is a count. When ocean waves hit the shore, they have a timing. The timing is a number. Nature taught us that numbers are not scary. They are the invisible threads from which all creation is woven. They give us a sense of security. They tell us when the sun will rise and how many days until the winter returns. As you drift deeper into the story, let go of all burdens. There is no test, no calculation, just a story. A story of how a simple pebble became one and how the zero, which we call nothing, changed the way the world thinks. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and exhale very, very slowly. Feel the count of your breath 1 and 2. Place your hand on your heart, feel its beat. This beat is a message that you are a living part of this great universal geometry. Let us pull back the curtain of time and meet the first humans who felt the magic of numbers. Imagine you are outside that cave. The air is cool, but warmth of the fire glows against your face. You are not alone. An early human sits beside you. His hands are rough, his hair unkempt, but his eyes hold the same curiosity that lives in yours. He has no paper, no calculator. Before him is only the dust of the earth and a few small, smooth stones. Watch closely. He takes a wild fruit from a basket and places it on the ground. Then he picks up one small round stone and places it to the right. He takes a second fruit and places a second stone. No words are spoken, no one or two. There is only a connection, a symbol for an object. That is what we call one to one correspondence. It was the first great miracle of the human mind, the birth of abstract thought. To him, that stone wasn't just a stone, it was the shadow of the fruit. Even when fruits were hidden in the basket, the stones outside would tell him the truth. Now imagine you are by the shores of Lake Edward in Africa. About 20,000 years ago, a person holds a long brownish bone, the Ishango bone. With a sharp flake of quartz, he carves the lines into the bone. The first mark, the second, the third. He pauses, thinks, and starts a new group of marks. What was he counting? Perhaps he was watching the changing face of the moon. He saw how the moon grew thinner every night, disappeared, and then was born again. With these marks, he was trying to bind time itself. Feel the texture of that bone, its rough surface. He didn't know thousands of years later. We would call these the first evidence of prime numbers. To him, it was just a way to ease his fear. Because when we count something, it stops being scary. Numbers give us a sense of control. The sun is setting. A shepherd is returning with his sheep. He has a small leather pouch. He knows every sheep by sight, but he fears one might be lost in the brush. He pulls a pebble from his pouch and drops it into a small circle on the ground. As each sheep enters the fold, the soft sound of the stones hitting each other brings him peace. When the last sheep goes in and the pouch is empty, he takes a long, satisfied breath. Math began with this satisfaction. It wasn't about complex equations, it was about being sure. Take a deep breath, will how your ancestors built the foundations of the language that now takes rockets to moon using nothing but tiny lines and pebbles. Open your mind's eye again. We move away from the lakes of Africa to the fertile land between two great rivers, Mesopotamia. It is a warm afternoon summer 5,000 years ago. Around you are high palaces and temples made of mud bricks. These people, the Sumerians and Babylonians, were traders, astronomers, and engineers. Look there, in the shade of a temple, a young scribe is sitting. He has no paper, he holds a square tablet of damp clay. In his other hand is a reed stylus with a triangular tip. He carefully presses marks into the wet earth. This is cuneiform. When that clay dries in the sun, the record becomes a permanent headstone. They are not just counting pebbles anymore. The recording grain stores, land boundaries, and the movement of the stars. Here comes a fascinating turn. Today, we count in bases of 10, 10, 20, 100, likely because we have 10 fingers. But the Babylonians chose a different path. They chose 60. Why? Look at your right hand. Use your thumb to touch the segments of your fingers. Each finger has 3 segments. Your 4 fingers have a total of 12 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now fold one finger on your left hand to represent one group of 12. When you have folded all 5 fingers on your left hand, you have 12 times 5, which is 60. This felt natural to them. 60 became a magical number. You can divide it by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, and 30. This flexibility made their trade and science effortless. Because of them, thousands of years later, when you look at your watch, you are speaking the language of ancient Babylon. 1 hour equals 60 minutes, 1 minute equals 60 seconds. When you look at the night sky, a full circle is 360 degrees, which is 6 times 60. They believed the sun completed its journey in 360 days. Feel that connection. Every time you check the time, you're linked to the minds of those ancient Mesopotamians. Math allowed humans to master time for the first time. We travel west now to the banks of the Nile. The Egyptians were looking at the stars, but they were also looking at the earth. Every year, the Nile flooded, bringing fertile soil but washing away the boundaries of the fields. To decide whose land was whose, they needed math. The water has receded. Men stand on the muddy ground holding long ropes. These were the rope stretchers. Their rope was special. It had 13 knots tied at equal intervals. They found a way to create a perfect right angle on the ground. They would bend the rope to form a triangle with sides of 3, 4, and 5 units. As soon as they pulled the rope taut at these corners, a perfect right angle appeared. Today we know this as Pythagorean theorem. Square of 3 plus square of 4 gives square of 5. 9 plus 16 equals 25. With just a knotted rope, they gained the confidence to build pyramids that touched the sky. For the Egyptians, numbers were art. A single stroke for 1, a heel bone for 10, a coil or rope for 100, and for 1 million, a man standing with his arms raised in wonder. Feel the labor of the workers carving massive stones in the heat. They used their forearms to measure the cubit, from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. With the simple scale, they built the Great Pyramid of Giza so precisely that not even a hair can fit between the stones. They even divided the human eye into fractions. The eye of Horus was a symbol where each part represented a fraction: 1 upon 2, 1 upon 4, 1 upon 8, 1 upon 16. They believed that while humans can get closer and closer to perfection, total perfection belongs only to the divine. Take a deep breath. Feel the solidity of those stones. Egypt teaches us that math is not just an idea, it is the act of pulling ropes and lifting giants. Bring your consciousness to the sacred land of India, 1500 years ago. It is a quiet morning by the river. The air smells of sandalwood and incense. While the rest of the world struggled with heavy symbols like the Romans writing 18 as X, V, I, the great Indian mathematicians like Aryabhat and Brahmagupta were looking into the void. Zero, the Shunya. Imagine the moment someone realized that nothing is a number. In Sanskrit, it was called Shunya, meaning empty. But in Indian philosophy, emptiness was not the end, it was the source of everything. Take a breath. If you have 3 fruits and take 3 away, what remains? Nothing. Giving that nothing a name and a symbol was the greatest intellectual leap in history. India gave the world the decimal place value system. Think of the number 505, 505. The first 5 on the right is just 5. The 0 in the middle tells us the tens place is empty, but 5 on the left, it is no longer just 5, it becomes 500. With only 9 digits and a 0, they made it easy to write the largest numbers in the cosmos. They calculated the distance to the moon and the speed of planets on their fingertips. Brahmagupta taught the world that if you multiply any number by 0, it becomes 0. It was a dance where every number eventually dissolved into the void. Feel the peace of that realization. As your breathing slows, realize that this system traveled through Arab traders to Europe. Today, we call them Arabic numerals, but their heart was born here in the soil of Ganges. Step out of the corridor of time into a place where lines of light are racing all around you. This is the modern age. It looks complex, but the math is simpler than ever. Today's machines, your phone, your laptop, only understand 2 things: 0 and 1. This is binary. The philosopher Leibniz realized that every truth in the universe could be reduced to yes and no. 0 is the absence of light, off. 1 is the presence of light, on. This is the music of the binary. When trillions of these switches move together, they create the images you see and the voice you're hearing right now. The ancient zero is pulsing inside your phone at this very second. Our journey is ending. We started with pebbles and reached digital light. But the story of numbers never ends. Numbers are infinite. As you drift into sleep, feel that you too are a number, a ratio. The curve of your ear, the spiral of your DNA, everything is bound by a mathematical code. The universe uses numbers to understand you. You don't need to count anymore. Not pebbles, not ship, not seconds, not even your breaths. There is only zero, a deep, quiet, and pleasant zero. No thoughts, no worries, only peace. Deep breath in. One, two, three. Good night.